had the highest ranking, followed by New York, Miami, and Philadelphia. Loudoun County, a suburb of Washington, D.C., is the safest, followed by Boston, Long Island, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. 2:51 and 1 degree. Time for a check on your weather now with Patricia. Patricia, I thought that was an interesting story about this was the riskiest place to live in terms of natural disasters.
Right.
Let me ask you, where do you think is the ideal place to live in terms of weather?
Right.
Aside from Toronto, because we love Toronto regardless.
I know, but I always say Toronto's at the center of the universe because I got some real nice people up in the north. I like northern regions of Ontario. I really love the prairies over to the Atlantic provinces as well. We have a lot of people watching from Atlantic Canada as well, but they get a lot of snowfall all the time. I would say Yukon. Let's go with the Yukon. It's really cold up there, but overall it's kind of calm. You got more nature around you, more of the elements around you as well. Jennifer, on this day though, the elements are on our side, no longer inclement. We're not seeing any rain, any snow, any freezing rain, freezing drizzle. All that is a conversation of what was. We are seeing sunshine more so depending on your location. Ottawa, you're getting it now. Cobourg, Peterborough, areas of the Kawarthas as well, so that's to the east. And then around the Golden Horseshoe, some areas starting to see a little bit more of that sun built in, but we're not getting it downtown. I wish we had more sunshine in the downtown core. I feel it. When you don't get that abundant sunshine, you don't feel that mood boosting energy. I need that sunshine. Those sunny days are always so good. But you know what? I got some packed up for you over the next 7 days. Let's talk about, of course, what's happening in the now. Temperature-wise, it's really not that bad. Around the Golden Horseshoe, temperatures are above the freezing mark. And across the region, they are as well, with the exception of my friends up in the Soo, over to Sudbury, North Bay, feeling -5 to -8 in your region with that kind of cool breeze in your town. Winds literally in Toronto, GTA Central, have been 70 kilometers an hour for like the last few hours and coming out of the northwest. So really not a big weather day now with that system that we tracked all of last night, yesterday evening into this morning has dissipated. It's not even in our province anymore. And it's starting to migrate out of our neighboring province of Quebec. On screen now, as promised, the updated 7-day forecast. Things still remain on our side. I popped in more sun than not. In fact, Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, we hold a lot of high pressure. It's really going to be nice. Temperatures are even more than fair, where again, daytime highs should be -1 to -2, Jennifer. Overnight lows in the negative double digits. Look at this. Look at this. This just looks good. 2021, you're doing good so far.
Already off to a great start.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Knock on wood, knock on wood.
Yes.
Thank you, PJ.
You're welcome.
Well, with the new year comes new car models set to hit the roads. There's been a lot of recent buzz around Ford's all-electric Mustang Mach-E model. Deliveries of the car have now begun. The ride can hit 0 to 95 kilometers in an hour in under 4 seconds. However, the jury is still out on how it compares to its chief competitor, the Tesla Model Y. Some sports news now. Canada meets the Czech Republic in the quarterfinals tonight at the World Juniors. The Canadians are coming off a 4-1 victory against Finland and have won all 4 of their games at the tournament. The Czechs come into the game with 2 wins and 2 losses so far. Puck drop tonight is set for 7 on TSN. And TSN's Mark Masters says many guys have played well for Canada, but they'll need another big performance from their best player to beat the Czechs.
It's the workhorse from Whitehorse, Dylan Cousins. He's an alternate captain, the top line winger right now. He scored 2 goals against the Finns. He has been excellent in terms of setting the tone. He looks like a guy who's ready to play in the NHL. He's a first-round pick by the Buffalo Sabres. He's Canada's leading scorer with 11 points in the tournament. He has been excellent.
Well, Team Canada has a hot, undefeated streak going. The players are also scoring high on the art canvas. While the team was in quarantine in Red Deer before the tournament got underway, they all traded in their hockey sticks for paintbrushes. Their paintings were auctioned off online, and when all was said and done, the event pulled in over $10,000. All the money will go to charities in Central Alberta. There was no winning ticket sold for the $22 million jackpot in last night's Lotto Max draw. The jackpot for the next draw is on Tuesday, which will grow to approximately $27 million. So if you're buying that, good luck. 2:55 and 1 degree. This is Toronto's breaking news. CP24. A rally today by families of residents at Tender Care Living Centre in Scarborough over the rising COVID-19 death toll at the care home. We'll have more on that coming up at 3 o'clock with Nick Dixon.
As the the pandemic continues into the winter and a sharp rise in cases of COVID-19 hits the GTA. What measures will be employed to keep you safe? The latest live, on air, online, and on the iHeartRadio app on CP24.
I'm Harold, the mortgage closer. Do you have any properties in the GTA for immediate sale? I'm looking to buy any houses, any commercial properties, any strip plazas, or even any vacant land in the GTA. Call Harold, 647-400-4653 for a quick closing.
When an accident happens to you, your lives change in an instant. We'll ensure that you will have access to the best benefits you're entitled to receive. Our clients really matter to us.
80% of men with erectile dysfunction have a physical condition and not a psychological one. Provida Medical will improve your love life, confidence, and performance. Revive your life and get Provida today. Go to getrevida.ca.
It's the Drive It Home holiday event at your Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram dealer. Get up to 25% off MSRP on Dodge Grand Caravan with up to $13,050 in total discounts. Or 25% off MSRP on Ram 1500. That's up to $14,600 in total discounts. Or enjoy 0% financing for 96 months on Jeep Grand Cherokee, plus $750 in holiday bonus cash. The Drive It Home holiday event, on now.
I'm Harold, the mortgage closer. You have a home in the GTA? I can provide you easy mortgages, easy approvals, and easy money directly deposited into your bank. No appraisals or income statements needed. Call me, 647-400-4653 for a quick and easy mortgage.
Confused? That's how many people feel after they're hurt in an accident. What should you tell your insurance company? What should you sign? Let us handle the hassles and paperwork so you can focus on getting better. For a free consultation, call 1-800-JUSTICE.
Capital North Communities presents The Rose Hill, a luxurious new boutique condo building right in downtown Woodbridge. Imagine spacious upgraded suites up to 1,850 square feet. Steps from all the conveniences and charm that you ever dreamt of, including boutiques, restaurants, farmers markets, fresh grocers, cafes, and more. You can have it all at The Rose Hill in downtown Woodbridge. A place to build lasting memories with friends and family. Register now at therosehillcondos.com.
SafetyMask.ca has everything you need for PPE. Now available, a 50-pack of masks for only $9.95. Available in blue, black, or colorful. Safety Masks has everything you need in stock with next-day shipping. Visit SafetyMasks.ca and learn more.
Did you know that every single flush flings odors onto your soft surfaces? Then they get released back into the air, so you smell them later. Ew, right? That's why Febreze created Small Spaces. Press firmly and watch it get to work. Unlike the leading comb, Small Spaces continuously eliminates odors in the air and on surfaces, so they don't come back for 45 days. Just imagine what it can do with other odors.
Angry? That's how many people feel after they're hurt in an accident. Don't assume the insurance company will take care of you. Remember, the insurance company is not your friend. We can protect your rights. Call President Law at 1-800-JUSTICE.
Record-setting numbers in Ontario with nearly 3,300 new cases reported today, and the case count set a new record in Peel. Protesters calling for more oversight at Ontario's long-term care facilities. The latest demonstration held earlier at Tender Care. And a group of Ontario education workers rallying this afternoon. Will explain why coming up. 3 o'clock and 1 degree from 299 Queen Street West. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Dixon. Ontario is reporting a record record number of new COVID-19 cases today at 3,363 across the province. The province also released this morning that yesterday's case count came in at about 2,500, but a spokesperson for Health Minister Christine Elliott says a data glitch caused cases in Toronto to be underreported on December the 31st and then overreported yesterday. As for today, Peel has set a new record with 713 new cases. There are 700 new cases in Toronto and 395 in New York Region. More than 61,000 tests were completed yesterday and more than 70,000 on Thursday. That is the most ever completed in one single day. 44 more deaths were also registered. Now, the head of the Ontario Hospital Association has a dire warning for the coming months. Anthony Dale says the rising case numbers between January and February are going to be brutal. He says the situation is totally unsustainable as 20% of the province's intensive care capacity is now devoted to COVID-19 patients. This also comes as hospitals in Montreal warn they will exceed capacity within the next 3 weeks. And the Ontario Health Coalition is calling for the military to once again intervene in long-term care homes. The group that represents healthcare professionals and patients says there aren't many other short-term options to try to control widespread outbreaks in the homes. And protesters also calling for more help at long-term care homes in Ontario.
Nationalize long-term care! Nationalize long-term care!
Dozens of protesters gathered outside the Tendercare long-term care home in Scarborough, making their push for more oversight. Tendercare has seen more than 120 residents and almost 60 staff with COVID-19. More than 50 people have died in this second wave. The protesters want to see an end to privatization in long-term care, and they are also calling on the Ford government to revisit a provincial act limiting liability for private operators.
I'm here today at Tendercare to be in solidarity with some of the families that are grieving right now because, quite candidly, I think we've failed quite a lot of families during COVID. And one of the things that I'll be doing in the coming weeks is to file an application in court to see whether or not we can beat back the government's attempt to limit its own liability when it comes to being responsible and giving answers to residents of Scarborough and or persons whose families may have been affected in long-term care homes.
It's disgusting. It's a humanitarian crisis, and the reason it's able to happen is that the government has not stepped in. There's no real oversight happening here. There are doctors and nurses happy to help out, but they're also under stress where they work. So what should have happened is we should have absolutely paid the staff more, and we should have been prepared, knowing the first wave, to have twice as many staff in these places.
I have grieved my mom since March. My mom became COVID positive on Mother's Day. I looked at her through the early window and I thought I was saying goodbye. Because of profits over care is the bottom line. These private owners are not giving up their management and calling in the help that's needed because they are too focused on profit.
Spokesperson for Long-Term Care Minister Marilee Fullerton released a statement on Tendercare that reads in part, staffing at the home is now above levels during normal operations for personal support workers and registered staff. Infection prevention and control audits have shown significant improvement this week. Environmental services staff are on site and continue to clean the home. We remain committed to doing everything we can along with our partners to help stabilize the home and have them return to normal operations. COVID-19 vaccines are continuing to be rolled out at long-term care homes in the city. Mayor John Tory tweeting out these pictures of vaccines being administered at Fudger House on Sherbourne or Wellesley. 130 residents were inoculated there this morning. Staff at the home worked with a team from the University Health Network to administer the shots. Well, a rally and driving protest is underway this afternoon by a group of education workers from across the province. The Ontario Education Workers United, a coalition of rank-and-file education workers, say they will be hard hit along with low-income and racialized students and their families without support from the province. They are demanding more support for the lockdown, including barrier-free benefits to anyone forced out of work due to the shutdown, immediate rent relief, and a ban on evictions, as well as paid sick days and status for all.
We see the deepening inequality in our classrooms as well. Schools in poor and racialized neighborhoods have more COVID cases, more classrooms self-isolating, and more school closures. Ford's refusal to properly fund an equitable pandemic response and safe school reopening is denying far too many students access to the face-to-face learning that they deserve. The school shutdown will once again hit these same students and families the hardest.
Doug Ford, every single step of the way, has chosen to prioritize profit over children, profit over families, profit over our elders, profit over workers, and profit over communities. And that has resulted in the need for widespread school closures.
Now, at least at this point, the lockdown is scheduled to be lifted January 11th for elementary students and then 2 weeks later for high schoolers. The UK government is facing growing calls to keep all schools in England closed for at least 2 weeks after the Christmas break. It comes as coronavirus cases continue to surge across the country. The Education Secretary recently changed course and recommended all public schools in London remain shut down next week. The UK is in the midst of a sharp spike in new coronavirus cases that many have blamed on a new virus variant that is said to be up to 70% more infectious. 3:07 right now in 1 degree. Time for a quick check on the forecast. Snow, rain, and ice. It kind of left a bit of a mess around the city this morning. It certainly came down late last night and continued until early this morning. That made things pretty slippery out there on the roads. Snowplows and salters were out overnight, and they're still out there this afternoon. And a reminder, if the city doesn't clear the sidewalk in front of your property, you have 12 hours after the snowfall to make sure they are clear for pedestrians. So PJ's got her stopwatch on. We are a few hours from the end of the snowfall. It's actually after the morning, Patricia.
Yes.
You must have been a pretty decent day, actually.
Yeah, you know what? We can't complain when it looks like this, when it feels like this. You know what? It's a brilliant day. We could do with a little bit more sunshine, but our friends to the east, like over in Cobourg, Hay, and I would even say the Kawarthas, also in through Belleville, where we did see lingering, really terrible, treacherous, dangerous, hazardous conditions for travel in your region up until really we got out of the morning this morning. But it is about reflecting back, because what is now is not a lot of activity going on. So the fun for me has kind of come to an end. I like tracking these increment systems for you guys, awaiting it. The intensity rises. We then see it dump down. It's like, yeah, predictions were bang on. But as we head into your evening, it calms even more. Partly cloudy and dry, northeasterly winds, -1 to -2 for the peak of the eve, sliding maybe to -3 in some areas. It is actually 2 degrees downtown, so we are close to our daytime high. Just that stat of 1 degree is at Toronto Pearson Airport. That is, of course, Mississauga. We will feel -6 to -8 overnight tonight, so feeling closer to where we should be seasonally when you factor in that temperature story. And as mentioned, 1 degree does feel now -3. We're continuing to see improvements here. A really, really nice first weekend of 2021. Will this good energy last into the first full week of the new year, Nick? You know the answers already, so don't give them away. We'll talk details for our viewers coming up.
I know you'll bring the energy, that's for sure.
You know it.
All right,
that's what I'm good
thank
for.
you.
You're welcome.
Well, Toronto Police have issued a public safety alert after the discovery of hazardous substances in a Scarborough park. Just after 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, when police say several 2-liter plastic bottles containing a white substance were found in the park near McCown and Eglinton. Police say the substance is combustible and should not be touched by anybody. Anyone who finds more bottles is being asked to contact police immediately. A man was seriously injured in a shooting near Oakwood and St. Clair. Police called the Glen home in Conway about 8:30 last night and found a man with a gunshot wound. He was taken to hospital and is expected to survive. No word at this point on suspects. Coming up on 10 after 3, 1 degree, and this is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Some good news and some not so good news on the economy this year. The details on that. A helicopter crash in northern Alberta. The RCMP says the chopper went down on New Year's Day in a farmer's field in Spirit River. That's about 500 kilometers northwest of Edmonton. No word yet on what caused the crash. The identities of the victims have not been released. The World Health Organization is investing in a pilot project out of Alberta. The program will see drones used for essential deliveries to remote and Indigenous communities. Last summer, researchers teamed up with the 3 reserves that are part of the Stoney Nakoda First Nation west of Calgary. The drone, which as you can see looks kind of like a small helicopter, can carry medical equipment and COVID-19 test kits weighing up to 45 kilograms. The WHO is interested in using the drone to reach remote areas in African countries. Well, some good news after a tumultuous 2020. One expert says he expects the Canadian economy will do much better this year. Ian Lee from Carleton University says it's partly because Canadians are saving dramatically more money. In the second quarter of 2020, people had saved on average 28.2% of their disposable income, up from 3.1% during the same period the year before. Lockdown measures left many people with little to spend their money on, but Lee says with vaccines being rolled out, there is renewed hope Canadians will soon be able to leave their homes and make purchases that help stimulate the economy. Now, the new year, though, will mean higher food prices for Canadians. Dalhousie University's annual food price report finds the pandemic, wildfires, and changing consumer habits are driving grocery bills to the highest increase ever this year. Rising bread, meat, and vegetable prices are expected to lead the overall food price increase of 3 to 5%. That means the average family of 4 will pay almost $14,000 on food this year. We spoke to the senior director of the university's Agri-Food Analytics Lab, who had a few tips on ways you could save some money.
A lot of producers actually freeze their harvests out in the field, and so they do capture that nutrition very quickly, and it's sold in freezers today. So the taste may not be the same, but nutrients are absolutely all there for you.
Now, while the price of root crops like potatoes and carrots should remain stable, leafy greens and more perishable products like tomatoes and cucumbers will be more expensive. Poultry will also see a large spike in prices. France's Interior Minister says the judicial investigation has been opened to identify and prosecute the organizers of an underground New Year's Eve rave. The event drew at least 2,500 people despite a curfew amid the pandemic. People from across France and other parts of Europe were there, and about 800 have already been sanctioned for being at an illegal party, breaking curfew, and not wearing masks, while others were issued notices for using illegal drugs. The global COVID-19 case count is now topping 84 million. Data from Johns Hopkins University shows more than 1.8 million deaths around the world. Now, the U.S. tops the list in terms of cases with more than 20 million and almost 348,000 deaths. India, Brazil, Russia, and France round out the top 5. 27 people at a nursing home in Belgium have now died of COVID-19 as a result of a super spreader party held there last month. Authorities say a troop was brought into the home in the northern city of Mol on December 4th to celebrate St. Nicholas Day, a tradition more popular with children in Belgium than Santa Claus. Families of residents who died in the outbreak said the nursing home should have never organized the party amidst restrictions throughout Belgium aimed at curbing the spread of the virus.
She's in her room when she can't get out. She has to eat in her room. She sees very little people. Also, the people at the home have no time for her because it's so much dead and sick people. They have no time for her.
88 residents and 42 staff at the nursing home have now tested positive for COVID-19. The Vatican will begin its COVID-19 vaccination campaign in the next few days. The Vatican's health department says it expects to receive its first doses next week. It didn't specify whether Pope Francis will be inoculated. Vaccinations will be prioritized for healthcare staff, security personnel, the elderly, and employees who frequently are in contact with the public. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home was vandalized on New Year's Day. Police officers found graffiti painted on her garage door and a pig's head left in her driveway. The graffiti referenced COVID-19 relief payments and canceling rent. There are several surveillance cameras on the home and in the neighborhood, but so far, there is no word on suspects. Vandals also targeted Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home in Kentucky. The words, "Where's my money?" and "Mitch kills the poor" were spray painted on a door and window, while a profanity directed at the Republican senator was written under his mailbox. McConnell released a statement condemning the vandalism, saying the politics of fear have no place in society. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will find out Monday whether he can be extradited from the UK to the US. Assange is facing espionage charges over the publication of secret American military documents relating to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. His partner has appealed to President Trump to grant a pardon before he leaves office on January 20th. U.S. prosecutors have indicted the 49-year-old on 17 espionage charges that carry a maximum sentence of 175 years in prison. Assange says he is a journalist entitled to First Amendment protections. All right, 317. 1 degree, feels like -3 out there right now. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. When we come back, Trisha Dragunov will reveal all the details of what she was holding back earlier when it comes to the full forecast.